we shall be covering all these natural regions of the earth. Equatorial region, as you would be remembering that in the last lecture I have already sent you the PDF, you would have read also. Then we'll be doing the tropical and temperate grasslands. This you would have covered in your class 6 or 7, where you would have read about your North America and South America. You would have come across tropical and temperate grasslands there. Then you have tropical deserts. Then you have taiga and tundra, and tropical monsoon type of climate. This is my favorite. Why? Because India falls under this category. So we would be talking about this in detail afterwards. And let us start with the equatorial region now. Now, talking about the equatorial region, first of all, I would like to talk about the location. Where is basically the equatorial region located? So the location of equatorial region is 0 to 10 degrees north and south of the equator. That means we know that the equator is 0 degree. So if I move from 0 degree towards the north, if I move 0 to 1 degrees, 2 degrees north, 3 degrees north, 4 degrees north, till 10 degrees north. Similarly, 0, 1 degree south, 2 degrees south, 3 degrees south, and 10 degrees south. So it is basically 0 to 10 degrees north and south of the equator. Few areas which would be falling under this category is Southeast Asia. I have given the example of Indonesia, Malaysia. These are the areas which fall under, which come under the equatorial region. In South America, Amazon basin, the river Amazon, then Brazilian highlands, they are also the part of equatorial region. And Africa, in Africa, the Zaire river, Zaire basin is basically the equatorial region. See, this is the map. Southeast Asia, I was talking about. See, this is the Southeast Asia basically. So Indonesia, Malaysia, these are the Sumatra, Java, these Sumatra, Java islands you would have come across in your class 8 when you have done your Asia, right? Then Africa, this is the part of Africa which comes under the equatorial region. And then you have, as I told you, the part of South America, right? So if I talk about basically the equatorial region would be, as the name suggests, the equatorial region will be near the equator. This is equator, so near the equator, that is approximately 10 degrees north and south of the equator. So this is basically the equatorial region. Talking about the climate of the equatorial region. Now, we have very high temperatures throughout the year here. In the equatorial region, we have very high temperatures, right? Now, let me make one thing very clear to you. In our geography, we have something called GR. Now, this GR, we would be coming across many a times. Now, this GR stands for give reason. We have given it, we use the abbreviated form basically here. This is GR, that is give reason. Now, you would be knowing that in geography, very oftenly the board also asks the question, these GR type of questions, and in the home examination also you would be given such type of questions. So you would have already done, and now you have to be very well versed with this concept. Now, whatever things, there are certain things for which the reasons are there, right? Suppose if I tell you that the equatorial region have very high temperatures throughout the year, so there has to be some reason for that, right? So that is why I have written it in brackets here, that it is a GR question. Maybe the board gives you that equatorial region experiences very high temperatures throughout the year. So you have to write the reason for that. I hope everybody of you might be knowing the reason. That I'll come back to the map once again. As we know that this is the region or the part of the earth which receives direct rays of the sun throughout the year. This is the region of the earth which receives the direct rays of the sun throughout the year, irrespective of the position of the earth during its revolution. So naturally, if the region is getting the direct rays of the sun throughout the year, so very high temperatures, the region would be experiencing very high temperatures. So this would be your reason behind it. So the region is experiencing very high temperatures simply because of the reason that the area receives slanting rays of direct rays of the sun throughout the year. Next very important point about the climate here is that it receives very heavy rainfall throughout the year. Again, this is your GR question. There has to be some reason for that. Now, the reason for this is, again back to the map. As you see that this equatorial region, we have sufficient amount of water bodies present here, right? Sufficient amount of water bodies. Now, the place receives the direct rays of the sun throughout the year. As a result of it, what will happen? Evaporation, the rate of evaporation would be more, right? So the rate of evaporation would be more, leading to the rainfall, leading to very heavy rainfall throughout the year, right? Second reason is the place gets the convectional type of rainfall. Okay, now this types of rainfall we'll be discussing in detail afterwards. When we are doing the precipitation, we have the entire chapter for this. Now, what is convectional type of rainfall basically is the surface, land surface gets heated as a result of the direct rays of the sun, due to which the hot air moves up. When the hot air moves up, after reaching a certain height, condensation would occur. Condensation means formation of clouds. Clouds would form, and every day it rains there at 4 o'clock. That is why this rain is also known as the 4 o'clock rain, right? As I told you that the rainfall is mainly the convectional type of rainfall. Convectional type of rainfall occurs in the region which are very hot. Yeah, Gujarat even receives this convectional type of rainfall. Rajasthan also receives the convectional type of rainfall, right? Some places we get orographic rainfall also. Now, orographic rainfall is the rainfall which occurs due to some kind of barrier, maybe hill or mountain, etc. So, majorly the equatorial region is receiving convectional type of rainfall. At some places, orographic rainfall is also experienced. Now, there are no seasons there, no distinct seasons. Only one type of season, that is hot and wet season throughout the year. Now the next topic which comes here is, after the climate, we would be studying about the natural vegetation of the place. See, I hope you would be knowing the meaning of the natural vegetation. Natural vegetation is basically the trees or the plants which grow on their own without any human intervention. Okay, we grow plants, we grow crops, but the plants which are growing in an area naturally forms the natural vegetation of that particular place. Okay, now this natural vegetation is directly connected to rainfall of any place. Now, as you have seen in the previous slide, that the place receives very heavy rainfall. So naturally, the natural vegetation, if I talk about, we would be having very dense forests here due to the very heavy rainfall. So tropical rainforests are found. These tropical rainforests are known as selvas. These tropical rainforests are evergreen forests. Okay, these are very, very, very dense forests. Even in our country, India also, we have at some places where it rains a lot, we find this type of vegetation. Okay, now we have 4 distinct layers of the forest. If I see the forest, we have 4 layers of the forest. That means the trees are in 4 layers. I'll show you the picture just now. The layers of the forest. See, these are the layers of the forest. The first is the emergent layer, right? This you can understand as the, this is a kind of a society where these are the high class people, right, getting all the benefits and all the luxuries of life, right? So emergent trees are the trees which receive the maximum amount of sunlight. Naturally, it will affect the growth also, profuse growth, and nutrients also abundantly they get, right? Second layer is your canopy layer. Canopy layer is the trees which are comparatively short than this emergent layer, and they form canopy. Canopy is what? This chhatri type of structure, right? Because the trees are very close to each other. So this canopy, like this, the canopy they form. Now due to this canopy, what is happening? The sun rays will not be able to reach here. So naturally the trees which are here, they would be getting less sunlight, right? So it would naturally affect their growth also. And then we have the creepers and undergrowth here, right? Herbs, creepers. So these are the 4 layers of the forest here. So this is a typical equatorial forest. How does it look like, right? Now talking about the wildlife, now actually if you have such a dense forest, so wide variety of wildlife also. So wide variety of animal species are found. Now this is the thing which you have to read on your own. I'll be sending you the PDF and you have to find out the various types of animals which are found in the equatorial region, right? Arboreal animals, you would be knowing that the animals which are living on trees, living in trees are known as the arboreal animals are found. And now I have one activity for you people. Now this, you would be writing down the names of the few animals which you found here. This you can see from the PDF which I'll be sending. Talking about the human adaptations. Now what do you mean by human adaptations? That basically under this topic we would be talking about the economic activity of the people, that what basically is the means of livelihood for the people there. Okay, so if I talk about the equatorial region, the people, primitive people, they are engaged in hunting and food gathering. Still they are the nomadic people who hunt the animals and they live in the forest, and they are basically the food gatherers. Okay, shifting agriculture is still prevalent. Now shifting agriculture is when these primitive people, they choose they clear a patch of jungle and then they practice agriculture for few years there, and then after a few years, naturally if you are continuously growing crops on the same patch of land, the soil is likely to lose its fertility. Then they shift to some other place. So this is shifting agriculture. This is something which has been banned by the Indian government now, because this is the most wasteful method of agriculture, but still in many places it is practiced there. Plantation agriculture, as you would be knowing that plantation agriculture, this practice was basically brought by the Britishers. Now Britishers, wherever they went, they adopted this method of agriculture, that is plantation agriculture. A very wide, the agriculture, it receives a huge capital in which basically the cash crops are grown, and modern methods of agriculture they are used, machineries are used and all. So plantation agriculture is also practiced. You would be knowing that you would have heard about the coffee plantations, rubber plantations, and tea plantations. So this is what the plantation agriculture is. Main crops, if I talk about main crops of the equatorial region, they are maize, groundnut, coffee, tea. These crops are grown there. Cool. Now this is all about the equatorial region. I have few questions for you, very easy questions which I have already covered in the previous slides. One question which I have not covered is this one, this DR. As I told you, I have given you 2 GR questions here. So this I have already explained you. The second one is Mount Kilimanjaro. You would have heard its name also, one of the highest peaks. It's very close to equator, but still it is covered with snow throughout the year. This answer you would find in the PDF which I will be sending. So please find out the answer and write down. Any explanation required, please let me know.